Welcome, Chef Val. We're going to enjoy your program on summer sandwiches and roll-ups. And we're delighted to have you back to the library for the third time. It's been a wonderful program each time, and we're looking forward to seeing what you've brought for us today. So thank you very much.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it. So today is July 11th. It's my birthday. And it also is the day that my sixth cookbook is coming out. Thank you, Cheryl. It is Simply Healthy Scrumptious Desserts. This is the proof copy, so there's like a line in it. But today is the release day. It has 42 delicious, sugar-free, healthy vegan desserts. You can go to macroval.com on the website, and it'll take you right to where you can purchase the cookbook. So during the class, I like audience participation, as I mentioned. So feel free to type in the chat or unmute yourself and ask yourself a question. So as I said before, I'm going to teach you how to make some tofu sandwiches and a tempeh roll-up. And so my question to you is, I usually use these as travel foods. For instance, I go on vacation for a week up into the beautiful Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and these are some of the foods that I take with me. So my question to you is, do you travel? Do you think you're going to take these like as travel food? Do you think you're going to take this on a picnic? Because that would be fun too. Or maybe you're just going to enjoy making the sandwiches and roll-ups at home. But give me some feedback where you think you might be using these sandwiches and roll-ups with. You can go ahead and type it in the chat. All right. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Go ahead and type in the chat. Travel to Lake Erie. Oh my God, that's awesome. Traveling to Lake Erie. Oh, yeah, Lake Erie. Love that. By the way, for everybody who's attending the class, the Royal Oak Library will send you the recipe through email. Okay. So make sure you get the recipe in your email. If you don't, contact them and they'll get it to you. Yes. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to teach you how to do is make this tofu sandwich spread. We'll be traveling to the UP later this month, so I'll love to bring these with me. Carol, a girl after my own heart. I love the UP. I'm going the first week of August. Already did. Thanks, Susan. Yep. All right. So this is going to be a tofu spread. Now, I'm going to teach you how to make the tofu spread, which you can put on sandwiches. But guess what? You can use this as a dip for vegetables or chips. So there, you could use it for a couple different things. It's very flavorful. One of my favorite dips, actually. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the store and buy some tofu. For this recipe, you want firm or extra firm. Oh, geez, the thing's dripping. You want firm or extra firm, and you want fresh tofu, which means that it's packaged in water. Now, I shop at Kroger, so I get these Simple Truth Organic, and it's packaged in a 2-pack. I just like this brand or whatever, but wherever you go shopping, just look for firm or extra firm. The soft tofu really is only for like salad dressings and something soft. So I just dripped water all over my notes. Sorry about that. That was my own fault for picking up the container. But I wanted to show you what you're looking for when you go to the store so you know what to buy. Okay. All right, so tofu is made with soybeans. Soybeans are your protein food. In fact, they're very high in protein, but the tofu, because of the high protein content, tends to be a little hard to digest. So we are going to make the tofu more digestible, easy for our body to assimilate. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the tofu in a steamer pot. Now, I already did that before class just to save on time. This is my steamer pot. Put the whole pound of tofu in the steamer pot and steam it for 5 minutes. That's it, just 5 minutes. You just want to, you just want to cook the tofu for 5 minutes. That really helps with the digestion of the tofu, and it just makes it easier for your body to assimilate. So then you need a food processor for this particular recipe. We are going to start with 1 garlic clove. Okay. You're going to put the garlic clove on the cutting board. Take your knife and then put it on the garlic clove and give it a whack. That cracks the skin, and then the skin comes off of the garlic very easily for you. Now there's an end to it, that's the butt end. We're going to get rid of that because that's not palatable. And so, Val, what kind of knife is that? All right. This is what's called a caddy. Caddie. It's from Japan. I've had these knives for quite a while. They keep their sharpness very, very well, although I do sharpen my knives quite often because I use them a lot. But they will last a very long time if you take care of them. I like the caddy knife because it fits my hand. See, I'm a relatively small person. My hand is small, and so it fits my hand very nicely. It's a lightweight knife. It's not very heavy, and it makes it very easy to chop through the vegetables. So it's Caddie, caddy knife. All right, so when you are creating in your kitchen and you're going to make, you're welcome, you're going to make some type of sauce or something, and the recipe calls for garlic and you put it in a food processor. I always put the garlic in the food processor first and chop it up into very small pieces. I do that because if you put all the ingredients in the food processor, sometimes the garlic may not get cut up into really small pieces, and you might have a chunk of garlic in your sauce, or in this case, in the tofu spread. So I just like to chop up the garlic into small pieces first. So it's basically minced in there, okay? Garlic. It's been used for thousands of years in herbal medicine because of its strong antibiotic properties. Also has anti-inflammatory, antiviral, okay? Whenever I have a situation where I'm not feeling good and I need some type of antibiotic, never ever want to take a drug, right? Because that kills the healthy flora in your gut. You can always use garlic. It's a natural antibiotic. And of course, it has that wonderful pungent flavor. That's why I'm putting it in the sandwich bread, because of the wonderful flavor. Now you're going to take your tofu and put it in there. Okay. All right. I just kind of squeezed it a little bit. Now, I know the next question that you want to ask me is, do I need to press the tofu, right? How many of you have ever made tofu recipes and you had to press it? Or for that matter, I don't know, the people that are attending, have you had tofu recipes? Do you eat tofu? Do you like tofu? I love tofu, right? Cheryl says I have. So Cheryl must have pressed the tofu before. Very rarely do I press my tofu, only for specific recipes, as I have a few, but sometimes you don't really need to press it. I mean, there's a little bit of water on the plate, and that just naturally came out of the tofu. I had it for dinner today. Oh, Cheryl, she had it for dinner today. Great. And with the sandwich spread, you want the sandwich spread to be spreadable. You want a nice consistency. So any moisture that's in the tofu, we can go ahead and keep in there. We don't need to press it. Okay. So let's go with the ingredients here. So we have 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, beautiful sour lemon juice. We have 1 tablespoon of olive oil, good quality, mono unsaturated, heart healthy fat olive oil. We have 1 teaspoon of sea salt, good quality sea salt with minerals and trace minerals. And we have 1 tablespoon of brown rice vinegar, one of my favorite vinegars, made from when they naturally ferment the brown rice. This vinegar is sweet and pungent, so I love it. It's one of my favorite vinegars. I have this on hand all the time, and especially in the summertime, this makes a wonderful salad dressing. And then the one ingredient you may be unfamiliar with is umeboshi plum paste. I'm going to put 3 teaspoons of umeboshi plum paste into the sauce. Has anybody had the umeboshi plum paste? Maybe if you've attended one of my other cooking classes, you heard me teach about it. So you do need to buy this product at a health food store, or you can order it, on the internet. Can we use rice wine vinegar? Yes, you could. Yep, you could use rice wine vinegar. Yes. This is one of my favorite seasonings because it is salty, it is pungent, it is sour, it is bitter. Some people claim it's slightly sweet because it is made with a plum. It's a traditional Japanese food that they actually eat over there all the time. They take plums, the umeboshi plum, and they mix it with sea salt. They put weight on top of it and they let it ferment for like 2 years. So it's a naturally fermented product, which means full of enzymes, amino acid, helps aid in digestion. But through the fermentation process, they also create antibiotic, antiviral, antiseptic properties. That's all in here. So I'm putting it in this dish for the beautiful flavor, but this is very medicinal also, okay? It's this beautiful, like pinkish color. And these are the actual plums ground up into a paste. I like using the paste because it's easier to measure, right? It's already ground up and it's in paste form, like that. All right, those are all the ingredients. Now we puree this up until it becomes smooth. Now, while you're pureeing it, I like to take my spatula and scoop down the sides at least once, depending on what it looks like. We may do it twice, but let's do it here once. That looks very nice. Let's take a look at it. Nice and creamy. Now we have one last ingredient, which is parsley. Okay, we get the parsley. All right. So parsley. You know how you buy a bunch of parsley from the store and you take it home and you want to cook with it and you want to work with it, but it gets wilted and it goes bad really quickly. So here's your cooking tip. Get the bunch of parsley, bring it home, take it out of the rubber band, and then clean it really well. Fill up the sink with water, swish it around. You'll get sand coming off there because parsley tends to be dirty. Make sure it's clean. Then take the parsley and put it back into a bouquet. Make sure the ends are even, put a rubber band on it, put it in a container with a little bit of water, and the stem is in the water. This parsley will stay good in your refrigerator for 4 weeks. I've had parsley in my fridge for 4 weeks and it is still good. As long as it's like this. Now I also put a lid on it. So it's in the refrigerator like this. And your parsley is always good. And for the recipe, we're going to just put 2 tablespoons of parsley in there. This is going to give beautiful light energy and a freshness to the spread. Parsley is high in chlorophyll, which cleanses the body. Chlorophyll also is high in protein. It's great for you. So we just want 1 tablespoon there. And then as you use the parsley, you can see what I'm doing. I'm picking off the little flowerette stem, so we're not really using the stems. I'm using the flower. So 2 tablespoons. All right. Now, I waited until now to put the 2 tablespoons of parsley in there because now I'm going to just chop up the parsley so there'll be little green specks all the way through the sandwich bread. We don't want the sandwich bread to be green, although maybe sometimes for St. Patrick's Day, you would want the sandwich bread to be green, right? But to make it a little more pleasing to the eye, we want just little specks of parsley in there. So let's pulse it. You know, it just came to my mind as I'm doing this. Basil. If you have fresh basil, some people grow fresh basil. This would taste amazing if you put fresh basil in it, in the place of the parsley. Although I love the parsley, there's nothing wrong with parsley, but just as I was making it, I thought, oh, this would taste delicious with basil in it too. So either one you could do. And now the best way to make this recipe is then to put the sandwich bread in the refrigerator so that it gets cold before you spread it on the bread. Now today I'm going to put this in the fridge while we make the tempeh roll up. So it'll be cold. I don't know if it'll be completely cold, but it'll be good enough. So here's the consistency. See how the consistency, see, it takes a while for it to come off the spoon. Now, if you had used a soft tofu, this would be runny, like a salad dressing, which is why in the recipe it says to get firm. So when you go to the store, make sure you get firm or extra firm tofu, right? I think once you make this recipe, not only will you use it as a sandwich bread, you're going to use this as a dip. This is going to be one of your favorite recipes. Very, very flavorful, very delicious. Putting it in there like so. That's what it looks like. I'm going to put it in the fridge. Yum. Delicious. All right, let's move this aside for now. And let's work on the tempeh. All right, any questions so far about the tofu spread or any other questions? You got any questions right now? I bought a super firm tofu at TJ's for a recipe. I dropped it on the counter and it bounced. Oh my God, that's hilarious, Cheryl. I saw a video one time. Oh my God, a lady made tofu from scratch. Oh, it looked so absolutely delicious. Oh, I want to make tofu from scratch. I haven't got the opportunity yet. I'm usually too busy doing other things, but oh, that tofu looks so delicious. Here's tempeh. Hey, I'm gonna give you all the health benefits of tofu and tempeh just here in a few minutes, but I want to get the tempeh in the pan and start cooking, and then I'm going to give you all the health benefits. Okay, so this is tempeh. You go to the store and you buy tempeh. One of my all-time favorite foods, tempeh. It's made when they ferment the soybeans. Now, one of the difficult things about tempeh is getting it out of the package because it is wrapped in 2 layers of plastic. So it can be challenging to get it out of there. So here's what I do. I cut the tempeh and the plastic that it's in, just like so. Cut it in half, cut it in half again. I'm going to get 4 equal pieces. And then look at this. The tempeh just comes out just like that. All right. Like I said, it's kind of challenging because they got it twice. All right. So we have 4 slices here. We want this to be in 12 equal size slices. So now that we have it in 4, each one of these, I'm going to cut into thirds. Okay. Now, when you take the tempeh out of the package, it's going to look like this. You can see the little beans. Sometimes there's going to be a little bit of brown. Sometimes there could even be black. That's perfectly fine. That's part of the fermentation of the soybean when they make it. Some people take the tempeh and they get it out of the package, and if it has black on it, they think, oh, there's something wrong with it. There is nothing wrong with tempeh if it has a little bit of black on it. That's part of the fermentation process. Now, right now, the tempeh really doesn't have any flavor. So we're going to impart flavor into the tempeh by sauteing. Okay. All right, let me move over to the stove and we'll get this going. All right, where is my light? My light bulb burnt out. So I hope there's enough light over here for everybody to see what's going on. Light over my stove. Get yourself a nice size saute pan. Turn it on medium heat. Okay. And I'm going to put all 12 slices into the pan. All single file like that. Okay. So you want to lay them in there single file. Now we're going to take 2 absolutely delicious seasonings, toasted sesame oil that's made from sesame seeds that are toasted. This is a dark toasted sesame oil. It has a rich, robust flavor, good quality plant-based fat. We're going to generously sprinkle that on the tempeh. Tempeh has a tendency to soak it up, okay? So we can be generous with it. We're also going to take some tamari. Tamari is the healthy version of soy sauce. Tamari is naturally fermented. It's soybeans that are naturally fermented. There's good quality sea salt in there. Soy sauce is an American invention. It is not naturally fermented, and soy sauce usually has MSG in it. So we don't want that, but we want tamari. Now, if you can't find this brand, I buy Matuko, which is imported, from Japan. Top of the line, best quality. But there's a company right here in Michigan called Eden brand. They sell tamari, they sell brown rice vinegar, they sell ume plum paste. Eden is a fantastic company, and it's right here in Michigan. So you could do their products too. Theirs are in health food stores. You'll see them all over the place. Medium heat. I can see. Oh, thank you, Cheryl, for letting me know that. I was wondering if I need to change the light bulb or if we're good. I don't need to change the light bulb. You guys can see, right? All right, let this hang out and start to cook. Let's chop the onion, because after the tempeh cooks, I'm going to put an onion in the pan and I'm going to saute onions. I don't know about you, but when I make a roll up or a sandwich, it has to have onion on it. Now, some people like the onion raw, in their roll up or their sandwich. My dad, he loves raw onions, so he would probably go with the raw version. I kind of like the sauteed onion a little bit better. Raw onion is going to be pungent. Sauteed onion is going to be a little sweeter. So I really like the sauteed onion. Okay, so we're going to chop the onion. Do you buy unseasoned tempeh? Yes, excellent question. This is tempeh original. There's one that's already seasoned. You could get the one that's already seasoned if you want. I like to season it myself, so I know exactly what the seasoning is that's on the tempeh. Seasoned was awful. Oh, okay. So she didn't like the seasoned one. Okay, well, this one will be more flavorful then. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, I'm going to chop the onion. Now, when you chop vegetables, got a beautiful wooden cutting board. Put some water on the cutting board first. This fills in the pores of the wood so the wood doesn't absorb the color and the odor of the vegetable you're chopping. Whenever you're in the kitchen, please remember to always have your cutting board wet, so that way your cutting board never smells like onions. It doesn't turn orange from chopping sweet potatoes. I've had these cutting boards for 20 years. They still look beautiful. I have one onion that I soaked in cold water. Does anybody know why I'm soaking it in cold water? You can put the answer in the chat. If anybody knows why I'm soaking it in cold water. And then I'm taking the skin off like so. Doesn't it take some of the harshness out? Yes, kind of. It makes it so that you don't cry when you chop the onion. It also makes it very easy to take the skin off. Now I'm going to chop the onion in what's called thin half moons. So you look at the onion and you can see the lines. You are going to chop, takes the sting out of it. Yes. You are going to chop with the lines. So first of all, you put flat surface down, hold the knife like so, and you chop as thin as possible these slices. This is called thin half moons. Okay. Now it gets to a point here where you can flop the onion down and you can continue chopping in thin half moons. Onions have anti-inflammatory properties. Now, when inflammation gets into your system, it can cause things like arthritis, joint pains, any type of pains, muscle pains, anything like that, that could be from the inflammation floating around in your body. So whenever you can eat anti-inflammatory foods, it is a step in the right direction. All right, so this is called thin half moons because the pieces look like moons. But also too, this is the most balanced cut when you're considering the energy of the food. So as the onion is growing in the ground, this is the butt end. This is the yang end. It's growing downward. This is the part where the green would grow. This is the yin end. So this is upward expansive yin. This is downward constrictive yang. So by cutting it in thin half moons, each piece has some of the yin energy and some of the yang energy. So it's like they call it a balanced cut. If you ever see that or hear that, now you know why they call it that, balanced cut. Okay, let's put the onions in a bowl here. And then I will give you some nutritional information about the tofu and the tempeh. And let's check out what's going on with the tempeh over here in the pan. Okay, here's a beautiful tempeh in the pan. It is lightly sizzling. You want the tempeh to lightly sizzle. You don't want the smoke to, or you don't want the oil to smoke. If the oil was smoking, that means your temperature is too hot. Don't want that. Okay. And you're gonna just cook it until it's brown on one side. It's not quite brown. All I do is I just check it. It's not quite brown yet. So we need a few minutes before we turn it over. Okay, so many people have had bad information given to them about soy. Many people avoid soy. Now, here's some things you need to know about soy. They have genetically modified the soybean. That's bad. So we need to make sure that when we buy soy products, that the soybeans say organic. Right now, the only way that we can guarantee that our food is not genetically modified is to buy organic. And it is especially important when it comes to soybeans to get the organic. Again, a lot of that information out there that says that soy is bad for you, also comes from research that's done with soy products that have been refined and processed. Okay. So just like any food, when you eat it in its whole form, it's healthy and wonderful for you. But when you refine and process it, not good for you. Okay. So tofu and tempeh are traditional foods that have been eaten for a long time. Tamari, the seasoning that I use that's naturally fermented, that's been eaten for thousands of years. Very healthy. In fact, 5,000-year-old texts describe soybeans as one of the most important food crops that they were growing back then. It feeds and nurtures your lungs and your large intestines, has B vitamins, which is very important because your body gets depleted of B vitamins when you get stressed out. Excellent source of iron, helps to promote vitality, contains calcium. It is a bean, and so it is a protein food. And so it feeds and nurtures your muscles. And the biggest muscle in your body is your heart. So they're fantastic for your heart. Let's see what's going on. Oh, yeah, we can turn the tempeh over now. Okay. So we're browned on one side. Let me show you what that looks like. Brown on one side. We're going to flip it over. Now, as you're cooking the tempeh, if the tempeh absorbs all the flavoring and your pan is starting to get dry, guess what? You can just add a little more seasoning. Not a problem. Ooh, I like it when it gets really dark. When it gets really dark brown like this. That's yummy. So, by the way, this is an incredibly delicious snack right here. Tempeh, just cooked in a little toasted sesame oil and a little tamari. You could just, after these get cooked in the pan, you can just eat them. What could I use instead of sesame oil, Val? I'm allergic. You could use any type of oil. You could cook this in olive oil. You could cook it in a grapefruit seed oil. Any type of healthy vegetable oil. You know, we want to stay away from refined processed oils. Okay. So usually if I'm not using, I usually olive oil for just about everything. And as long as you don't heat the oil at a really high temperature, it's fine. Sauteing this tempeh, we're like at a medium heat. We're not going really, really hot. Olive oil. I use olive oil all the time. That would be a good one. So back to soybeans. Soybeans have anti-cancer properties. I tell all my students, when you come to a cooking class, I'm going to give you a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. You may not be able to remember everything. So when it comes to soybeans, what you want to remember is they have anti-cancer properties. Okay. And so I'm going to tell you what those are. So one of them is genistein, which may stop the spread of some forms of cancer at an early stage. Soybeans also contain phytic acid, which inhibits the growth of tumors. Soybeans contain protease inhibitors, which is a universal anti-carcinogen and may block the action of cancer-causing enzymes. Soybeans also contain isoflavonoids. This is the natural estrogen component that many people get confused about. And this has been shown to help prevent hormone-dependent cancers and may be the reason why people in the Orient do not experience hot flashes, or at least they didn't until the introduction of modern, refined, processed bad food. When they ate a traditional diet and they ate a lot more soy than any of us here, they didn't even have a word for hot flashes. They never experienced it because the phytoestrogen that's in soy is a plant-based. They call it estrogen, but it's not a hormone like what runs around in our body. What it is it balances your estrogen. So if your estrogen is too high, it'll bring it down. If your estrogen is too low, it'll bring it up. It will balance your estrogen. For instance, God forbid, some people have breast cancer, which is bad. You know, it's really bad. But, you know, the doctor will be like, oh, stay away from soy, stay away from soy. And the person's like, I never ate soy in my life. I ate ice cream and I drank Diet Coke. And I now have breast cancer. So, but it was definitely caused from the soy, right? I joke. But anyways, so sometimes they will recommend that you go to the health food store and you buy a natural supplement that's a phytoestrogen. Well, guess what? That phytoestrogen comes from the soybean. So if you just eat tofu and tempeh on a regular basis, you'll be getting the phytoestrogen. This is probably done as I've been talking. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah. Beautiful color on there. Look how beautiful that is. All right. So keep the pan. We're going to saute the onions in the pan. All right. Keep the pan. But get yourself a plate and you can get those beautiful tempeh sticks out of the pan like so. Now the pan's hot. Let me just let it cool down just for a minute. These are what the tempeh sticks look like. Again, this right here is an amazing snack, which by the way, too, let's say, you're planning on going on vacation and you want to do these tempeh roll-ups, you know, and you want to do it ahead of time. You could season the tempeh like this, and then you could wrap it up and you could put it in your freezer. And then let's say a week later, you're going to go on a trip or something like that. Pull the beautiful tempeh out that you've already seasoned, let it defrost, and then put it in a roll-up. So you could like season it and prepare it, put it in your freezer. You always have good seasoned, delicious tempeh in your freezer, ready to go. Okay, here's our onions. Again, I'm going to keep it on a medium heat and we'll put the onions in. So now we do need to season the onions again with a little bit toasted sesame oil, a little bit of tamari. All right. When it comes to seasoning the onions with a little bit of toasted sesame oil, a little bit of tamari, always remember that you can add a little bit more, but you can't take it out. So always when you start with just a little bit, and you might want to add more. Okay. All right, let's go back to tofu and tempeh. They're made a little bit different. So tofu is like the white curds of the soybean. They soak the soybeans, then they grind them with water to make a smooth puree. They cook with boiling water. They strain the liquid, that's soy milk. And the pulp that is left, they add a coagulant to it, and it kind of comes together, and it makes the tofu chunks that you see. Tofu has no flavor right out of the package. So please do not eat it out of the package. Always either saute it, cook it, create a sandwich spread like I did, something. You have to put flavoring with it. And tempeh. Okay, so a little bit different. They take the soybeans, they cover them with boiling water, and then they soak them overnight. And then they partially cook them. They cool them, and then they add a starter culture to them so that the soybeans naturally ferment. So tempeh is naturally fermented. And so if you have any type of digestive issues, tempeh would be very easy to digest and assimilate. Tempeh is really good for your digestive tract. So sometimes when I'm working with a client who has a weak digestion, I usually start with tempeh right away. Let's look at the onions here. Which, by the way, I wanted to mention, if you didn't know, I teach cooking classes, but I also offer counseling sessions where I can work with people who have health issues. In the past, I've worked with people who have cancer, people that have arthritis, Meniere's disease. I've worked with various different people. When you start eating healthy, whole foods, get rid of the refined processed stuff, get rid of the chemicals, your body actually becomes stronger, okay? And your body can naturally heal itself. And then you can start to overcome some of the issues that you might be dealing with. Food is medicine, okay? Some people think it's just lunch. Hey, I'm just going to have lunch or whatever. No, the food is medicine. What you put in your body really makes a difference of what your overall health is. And you want to make sure that you're putting healthy food in there, okay? All right, so let's see. Are there any questions right now while we let the onions saute? Any questions? Any questions at all? What could I use instead of sesame oil, Val? Oh, I already answered that question. That's not a new one. Okay. So not a new question. All right. All right. So I'm going to mix together the special sauce that we're going to put on the roll-ups. Which, by the way, this special sauce is like my favorite sauce. I actually created this many years ago. I use it for a lot of different things. And when I've taught it to other students, they come back and tell me it's their absolutely favorite sauce dipping. You can use it as a dip. You can use it for anything. And it starts with Vegenaise. If you have not had this yet, this is an amazing product. It's very delicious. Follow your heart Vegenaise. Dairy-free, sugar-free mayonnaise. They have many different varieties. This is the blue cap one. This is probably the cheapest one. They have grapefruit seed oil one. They have an olive oil one. They have a soy-free version. So just go and pick whichever version you want. You want a half a cup of Vegenaise. Let me move it closer so you can see what I'm doing. It's very simple. It's very easy, but it's a fantastic sauce. All right, so I'm going to put a half a cup of Vegenaise on here like so. And then I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of my favorite condiment, yellow mustard. Absolutely love it. It is yellow from turmeric. Turmeric has strong anti-inflammatory properties, right? That's what makes the mustard yellow, turmeric. So it's a half a cup of veggies, 1 tablespoon of yellow mustard. That's it. Very, very simple and easy. And now we mix it together. I'm telling you, this is going to be your favorite new recipe. Simple, easy, mix it together, delicious. Okay. All right. That's for the roll up. There. The onions are almost done, okay? All right, so I know that you're asking me now, well, gee, Val, what kind of recipes is in your new dessert cookbook? Some of my favorite dessert recipes like blueberry pie. Blueberry pie is my all-time favorite. Also in the dessert cookbook, chocolate peanut butter cream pie. There's peanut butter cookies, chocolate chip cookies. There's fig truffles, peanut butter, chocolate protein treats. Yeah, chocolate cream pie, peach pie. Just came out today. So I'm pretty excited. That's why I keep mentioning it. It's my cookbook number 6 out today. All right, let's put the sandwich together. We need to get some cucumber because it's a tofu cucumber sandwich. So the inspiration for this is, you know, those little finger foods that you eat, little cucumber sandwiches. So this, I thought I'd come up with like a little cute little cucumber sandwich. Get yourself a beautiful organic cucumber. You want to get organic because if it's not organic, they put wax on the skin to make it look pretty and last in the store longer. Okay. Just going to cut off the butt end. And then I'm just going to slice it in thin slices. We're going to put actually like 4 slices on a sandwich. You know, the further you go in, maybe the little bigger the slices are. That's fine. Love cucumber. It's my favorite summer vegetable. Cucumber. High water content, which means it cools your body down. When it's really hot outside, you want to eat cooling foods like cucumber. High water content, so it's diuretic in nature, cleanses the body of toxins. Cucumbers also contain silicon. Silicon is very important for calcium absorption. So you have to have silicon in your diet, in the food that you're eating, so your body can absorb calcium. You find it in cucumbers. So that's wonderful. Let's look at the onions. I'm sure they're done. This is what your onions look like. Nice and sauteed, sweet, and they're nice and brown and they're soft. Yeah, these onions are done. All right, so I just turned the heat off of the pan. We'll let that sit until it's time to put the roll-ups together. But for right now, let's put the sandwich together. All right, I know the next question you have for me is what type of healthy bread can I use? First of all, do not use bread with white flour in it. White flour, bad. Spikes your blood sugar level, wreaks havoc with your system. White flour goes into your intestinal tract and it gets all gooped up. It acts like a glue-like substance. And it coats your intestinal tract. So then food tries to go through your intestinal tract and it's all gooped up from white flour and the food gets stuck. Not good. So we buy bread from the store. We want to read the ingredients. You want the ingredients to say something like organic. It's always best if you can find it, but organic, whole, organic and whole. Now, if you don't have a gluten problem or something like that, you can buy organic whole wheat bread, right? But if it says unbleached wheat flour, you know what that means? That means it is refined wheat They just didn't bleach it, but it basically is refined. So you really want to look for the word whole wheat flour is what you're looking for. Or if you're looking for some other version like that. Now, when it comes to gluten-free bread, I'm sorry, I have not found a good vegan gluten-free bread. Many of the gluten-free breads that I look at contain eggs, which means they're not vegan. I'm vegan, maybe you're not, so maybe that doesn't matter to you, but in order for me to recommend something, I have to find what I'm looking for. Now, there are some breads out there that when I read the ingredients, I'm not impressed with them. For instance, white rice flour. White rice has no nutritional value whatsoever. So you might as well be eating refined processed wheat flour if you're going to eat white rice flour. It's bad. Stay away from it. All these other gluten-free flours tend to have flours in them that are refined and processed. Now, I'll give you a challenge. All you people watching the cooking class and attending it, if you know of a gluten-free vegan bread that is, good quality ingredients that doesn't have refined processed flour in it, please tell me, because I'm still looking for one and I would use one, So anyways, my favorite is sprouted grain bread. So I use Ezekiel. Okay. So this means that the grain was sprouted instead of being ground up. Now, when they sprout the grain, it has a different way of digesting in your digestive tract. Some people that can't handle flour, some people get bloated after having flour. They don't have the same reaction to the sprouted grain. It just reacts in your digestive tract differently. So it's better. So I get the Ezekiel sprouted grain bread. It's my favorite. That is what I use. So let's get 2 pieces of the bread out. Now your recipe says you can toast the bread if you want, or you can just have it like this. So it is a brown bread. You can see the grains in it. You can see the fiber. You can see how nutrient dense and wonderful it is for you. So this is the bread that I use. Okay. So we take 2 pieces of bread and we're going to make our sandwich now. Here is the beautiful sandwich bread. It's been in the fridge for a little bit. Now, when you make the sandwich, you're going to want to spread some of it on both slices, okay? A thin layer on both slices. So that way you have a little bit of sandwich spread on both slices. And then you put the cucumbers on after that, okay? And like I said, you can put 4 slices of cucumber on there, like so. Close it up. Now you can cut it in half, or to make it fancy, like I said, you can cut it in 4. So it'd be like cute little 4 pieces of finger food. Okay. Now, if you were going to take this with you, travel or something, you just wrap this in plastic wrap and it's ready to go. So we have cute little sandwiches with the cucumber in it and the sandwich bread. This is such a delicious, whether you're going to take it with you or maybe you're just going to go sit outside because it's a beautiful sunny day. Go sit outside. Here's your dinner, little snack. I'd have like a side of vegetables with it. Yum. Looks great. Thank you. All right. So that's the sandwich. Let's do the roll up now. Move this stuff aside for a moment. So here is the onions and the tempeh. Okay, when it comes to making a roll up, again, look at the ingredients, read the ingredients, make sure they're whole flour, nothing refined or processed. If you're looking for gluten-free, I have used a brown rice Food for Life gluten-free tortilla roll up, but it tends to fall apart. So again, still looking for that elusive, good tortilla that's gluten-free. This is my favorite, and I mentioned it in the recipe because it's a Michigan-based company, J&J Organic Tortillas. I discovered these probably 4 years ago. I love these tortillas. The flavor, they're nice and soft. I cannot say enough about this, and made right here in Michigan. So we have certified organic stone ground spelt flour. Spelt is an ancient variety of whole wheat. It actually, spelt has not been manipulated the way that wheat has. So even some people who think they have gluten sensitivity, they can handle spelt because it's just a different, it's an older, like heirloom, like an old version of wheat. So spelt, we have non-GMO sunflower oil, sea salt, organic vinegar, and baking soda. You can't get much simpler than that. So this is spelt. They also have a kamut. I like kamut. Kamut and spelt are kind of similar, old type of wheat. I buy these from a store in Brighton because that's the closest place. You guys are in Royal Oak. I've called the company many times, and to the best of my knowledge, that's the only store they have it in is Royal Oak. Now, I do buy large quantities of this and put it in my freezer. So if anybody's ever in the Westland area, you could get them from me too. They are a small company. They're trying to get into more stores. So if you ever see J&J Organic Tortillas in any store, definitely pick them up and buy them. Is this like a watercress sandwich? Similar. You could put watercress on the sandwich in place of the cucumber. You could put arugula. I am in love with arugula this year. I've got arugula coming out of my garden. But yeah, you could put zucchini in place of the cucumber too. So whatever. Okay, so we have the organic J&J tortillas. Now we also have sprouted grain tortillas similar to the bread. Ezekiel sprouted grain tortillas. You could use these tortillas too. Although as I'm holding this package right here, I can tell the top tortilla is like hard. So, you buy this package from the store and like probably there's 6, probably 4 of them are going to be soft and maybe 2 are going to be hard, which I don't like, which is why this is my favorite because all of them are nice and soft. I'll show you what one looks like. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful tortillas. Look at this. Nice and soft, beautiful flavor, excellent texture. Yeah, this is a really good one. Okay, put the tortilla right here. We're going to make it. And then get, we already have a spoon. Wait a minute. I'm just going to take some of this sauce. Now, to make the perfect roll up, do not overstuff your roll up. So many people make the roll up and we all have a big appetite and we put a lot of stuff in that roll up. But then when we go to roll it up, it's too much and it falls apart. So just put a thin layer of the special sauce. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of onion next, like so. Now, when you create the tortilla, I'm also going to put the filling. Let me show you this because it's really important to create the best roll up. Put the filling here, okay? Leave a space on the bottom to fold it up and leave a space on the left and a space on the right to fold it up. Put your filling ingredients right here. Now you only need 2 of these tempeh sticks. Yes, I know the tempeh sticks are really delicious and you're tempted to put 3 or 4 in there. But again, you're going to overstuff the roll up. You're not going to be able to roll it up. Now the special ingredient is sauerkraut. Now this happens to be fresh thyme. It's organic. Eden makes sauerkraut, organic, very, very good. when you buy sauerkraut, turn around and read the label. The only thing that should be in sauerkraut is cabbage and sea salt. That's it. You could have some put garlic in it. That's perfectly fine. But the point is that naturally fermented sauerkraut only has salt in it. If there's vinegar in it, the vinegar is in there to speed up the fermentation process, and it's not completely like 100% naturally fermented if it has vinegar in it. So make sure you look for that. Ridiculously high in vitamin C, contains zinc, vitamin K for your bones, iron, vitamin E, natural antioxidant, calcium, phosphorus, selenium for your heart, anti-inflammatory properties, vitamin A for your eyes, and being that it's naturally fermented, enzymes, amino acids, fantastic for your digestion, and an incredible taste, sour, pungent, bitter, salty, it's all in there. Take a little bit of the sauerkraut, you don't need much, okay? Put it in your hand and squeeze. Squeeze the juice back into the jar. That juice is wonderful, but to put the sauerkraut on the roll up, we don't want moisture. Moisture will create this being wet and soggy. We don't want that. So squeeze the sauerkraut and then put it on the sandwich like this. Again, don't overstuff it. We got a little bit of sauerkraut, that's plenty. And then I put lettuce on my roll up. I like lettuce too. This is lettuce from my garden. Yum. So we have some pieces of lettuce here. Let's put some lettuce from my garden on there. All right. And now, remember I told you how important it was to make the roll up this way. Let me show you why. Other plate so we can put it on here. All right, are you ready for the roll up? You take the bottom and you fold it up. You take one side and you fold it over. You take the other side and you fold it over. You have the perfect container, the perfect roll up. It's not overstuffed. You didn't put too much in it, and it's closed on the bottom. So as you eat it, the stuff is not going to fall out. It's not going to drip out. Many people just roll it up. If you do it like this, it's the perfect container. Now you can wrap this in plastic wrap, travel with this. When I go on vacation up to the UP, this is what I take with me. And then when I'm going to have lunch and everything, I take all my food with me on vacation. But so then like when I'm up there, I'll make these for lunch and take with me as I'm in the vehicle or I'm going on a hike or something like that. This is the tempeh roll-up. Perfect little container, just like that. Here is our beautiful finger food, the cucumber tofu sandwiches and the tempeh roll-up. Okay. Are there any questions? Any questions? Do you think you're going to make this? Perfect roll-up. Thanks, Val. Never rolled it like that. Yeah, so it's the best way to do it. Who's going to make these? Are you ready? You're going to go out and make these and for your next adventure, picnic. Cheryl's going to make them. Travel food, vacation. Or, like I said, a beautiful day like this. This is a nice cooling dinner. It's not a hot dinner, you know, that's fixed on the stove that'll impart heat into you. Nice cooling dinner. I would have, you know, a side of vegetables with this. Do either of these need to be refrigerated? Yes, they do need to be refrigerated. Tofu always needs to be refrigerated. So your tofu dip needs to be refrigerated. Yeah. I mean, they would probably be okay for an hour outside of the refrigerator. Now the tempeh one will last longer outside of the refrigerator than the tofu one. Okay. I buy spelt bread from the farmer's market. Oh my God, Cheryl, that sounds amazing. I love freshly made bread. That's awesome. Thank you, Chef Val. Hey, Cheryl, where do you get that spelt bread? What farmer's market?
Royal Oak Farmers Market. There's a farmer, they bake it off themselves. They bring it, but you got to get there early because it goes fast. So they have spelt. I think they have a whole wheat, and I think they have rye.
You know if it's organic?
That's a good question. I will ask them.
Yeah, bread goes fast at the market. Now, I do the Westland Farmers Market every Thursday from 3 to 7, and I sell organic, sugar-free jam. And I also sell some vegan, again, organic, sugar-free desserts. I sell my sweet potato brownies with fudge frosting. That recipe is also in the new dessert cookbook. I sell pieces of pie at the market. Every week it's different. You know, this week I'm going to have white mulberry apple pie.
Wow.
Let's see, the last time I had strawberry apple. So, and the market is from 3 to 7 here in Westland.
Okay.
And this Thursday, I'm going to have autographed copies of the cookbook at the market also. Cheryl says, thank you. You are welcome. I want everybody to know that I teach cooking classes on a regular basis all the time. So coming up in 2 days on Wednesday, I'm teaching a dessert. So if you want to learn how to make a dessert, this is a frozen blueberry dessert. Wonderful for the summertime, featuring my favorite berry, blueberries. And in that class, I'm going to teach you how to make aquafaba, whip it up if you haven't done that before. And then on the 20th, I have a cubed millet and kasha salad, a whole grain salad. And then on the 27th, I have beet, brown rice, and arugula salad. And somebody asked, Kroger has tempeh, question mark. Yes, Kroger's does sell this tempeh, which is totally awesome. You can get it there. And so, you know, I'm always teaching classes, always coming up with new recipes. If anybody's interested in an in-person class, the next one is going to be August 17th here in my house in Westland. And it's a grilling class. We're going to be outside on my patio. And if you would like me to be back for the Royal Oak Library to teach another class, we love suggestions. What would you like to learn? So that way we can teach, you know, recipes. In fact, I believe it was somebody's suggestion that they wanted travel food, sandwiches, roll up. So we set this class up, August 17 in-person class at Val's house. Thank you. Yes. Yep. That's the next in-person class on the 17th. And like I said, you know, next time I come back to the Royal Oak Library, I can do a dessert recipe out of my new dessert cookbook if anybody's interested. I know it's summertime now, but probably, you know, fall's coming up pretty soon with pumpkin and squashes and things like that. That was me. Try some pumpkin recipes. Oh, okay. So Glenn suggested the sandwiches before. I just mentioned pumpkin. That would be nice. Store-bought desserts are too sweet. Yeah, I've got a chocolate pumpkin pie in the cookbook. That one's delicious. Wonderful. I have pumpkin truffles. That's in the cookbook. So lots of great dessert recipes. And I agree with you, Cheryl. The desserts in the store are just way too sweet.
I can't eat them. Ugh. I can't eat them. And also, like, I'm a pretty severe hypoglycemic, and store-bought sweets drive my blood sugar nuts. I just don't eat them. So it'd be nice to make something that I could eat.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
People with blood sugar issues, this is the perfect cookbook for them, but also food like this, healthy whole foods, whole grains are going to help to stabilize your blood sugar level. If you have, you know, any type of issues such as that you're talking about, you know, this Ezekiel bread is high in fiber. It's great for you. The tempeh and the tofu, again, they're whole foods products. Those are going to help stabilize your blood sugar too.
Val, can I ask you a
ahead.
question? So one thing I've heard is that people like me who do develop food allergies tend to be the ones that are highly GMO. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Yep. Corn, potatoes, sesame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to make, just like with soybeans, if you're going to get corn, you have to make sure it's not genetically modified because they have inundated the crops. So a lot of times when people have allergies, especially when you have allergies to really healthy food, I mean, organic corn, they've been eating for what? tens of thousands of years. It's very good for you. It's very healthy. So if you develop an allergy to it, number one, it could be from genetically modified corn, or it could be if you've eaten genetically modified food, it's gotten into your stomach and your gut and it's wreaked havoc with it. And you're not properly digesting your food. So you change your diet and you start eating like brown rice and millet, Ezekiel bread, all these healthy whole foods, lots of vegetables, eat lots and lots of vegetables. And yes, go for the organic vegetables. Your body can heal itself. Your body can come back from that weakened state where your digestion is acting up and it's creating allergies in your body. Now, it's going to take time. It's not like taking a pill, right? It works slowly, but you will definitely see improvements and you'll feel so much better. So I love when you ask me questions like this, because this is part of the reason why I do what I do. I want to help people like you who have this issue. I want you to create delicious recipes like this. Any one of my cookbooks. I also have a YouTube channel. I have a Patreon group where the videos are more involved and I actually teach you recipes. All the information is on macroval.com. And of course, a cooking class like this or any of my cooking classes, if you attend them and you get these recipes and you start making these recipes, you're going to strengthen the body and you're going to see a huge difference. So yes, I completely agree with you. If you have allergies, it could be from the genetically modified foods.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. I wondered because those are the ones I became allergic to. Yep. Thank you.
Oh.
Val, have you ever taken a test to see what you might be allergic to?
No, I've never taken a test.
I know there's the RAS test, but there's foods that probably are raising hell with me because I have asthma and I'm just trying to figure out, a strategy, a long-term strategy of eating and, leaving the house and not having an asthma attack.
Ugh, what a pain.
It sucks.
So anybody who has a health issue like that, please check out my website, the page that's counseling. I'll sit down with you and I'll go through everything. But off the top of my head, when someone mentions asthma, right away, dairy. You need to stop eating all dairy. You've got to cut dairy out. If you have any type of breathing issues, asthma, or anything like that, you need to get rid of dairy. Yes.
Do you consider eggs dairy?
No, I mean, they're not quote unquote dairy, but they are a form of high protein, and eggs do lead to allergies. They could be contributing to what you're dealing with. They could be a cause. Yes.
All right.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Val, for making another wonderful program to present for us at the Royal Oak Public Library. And we have recorded this, and I'm going to turn the recording off in a moment. And I hope that everyone here enjoyed. I know that everyone here enjoyed it. Thank you for your questions and all your information. Yes, everyone go to macroval.com. And you can find out more about what Chef Val is doing in the near future. And we probably will, have her again at the library sometime this fall. So I'm going to say, happy birthday again. And I'm going to say good night. I'm going to pause the recording now.